A lot of people have sent me messages after watching my videos on how to create a small and medium-sized enterprise and how to create an association, a non-governmental association in Cameroon. And they were very, very intrigued. Some went ahead and actually worked with the lawyers I worked with. I actually got them in contact with the lawyers that helped me out to create my own small and medium-sized enterprise and association. And they were so happy that they got the help they needed and all the knowledge they needed. And some people wanted to know how they could create a private limited company, what the fees were, the requirements, the share capital. And before I go in, I would like to say I am not a lawyer by profession. There are two main reasons why I stand in the place to give you the right information is that point number one, I read a lot of books. I have here with me the OHADA laws. The OHADA is the Organization for the Harmonization of Business Law in Africa, and 17 African countries actually carry out these laws, and Cameroon is amongst. I also have this, a business law in Africa, also compiled by OHADA. And because of that, I read a lot because I want to be informed, and I'm surrounded by lawyers. So that's the first point. And the second point is I registered a private limited company. And I would like you to see it here. If you look very well, you will see private limited company. There you can see. So I stand in the best position to give you all the information you need because I have experienced it and I have the knowledge. Now, we all know that this information about how to register a private limited company is not being put out in the open in different departments or different governmental offices and being taught on the TVs, the medias, etc. So a lot of people get scammed, get duped, get misinformed, get misled, and most people are not happy when they find out the truth, which I'm about to give you. So stay tuned for more. Welcome back. Like I said, today we'll be talking about how to register a private limited company. And as you know, I am knowledgeable and also I have the experience because I own a private limited company. So I stand in the best position to actually give you some advice. And I need to say again, I'm not a lawyer by profession. So I'm giving you all the information that I have read from the OHADA laws and also from experiencing from the documentation and how much I paid while creating my own private limited company, and also information that I got while asking the lawyers the differences between the different types of private limited company. Remember, I said that OHADA is a French acronym, and in English, it means Organization for the Harmonization of Business Law in Africa, and 17 African countries carry out these OHADA laws in Africa, and the laws are very good. I would like to say that in 2016, the Cameroon government came in and decided to create a platform where individuals could create private limited companies with a share capital of below 1 million francs. And it's worthy to know that this decree is based on Article 3 of Law Number 2016/0114 of 14 December 2016. You can Google it and you can read on it. So what I'm telling you is legit. So how did this start about? OHADA had the private limited company, and they had a share capital of 1 million and above. So the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises in Cameroon, or the Cameroon government, sat together and said, okay, with a minimum share capital of 1 million in Cameroon, does that help the average Cameroonian? So the Cameroon government, being so kind, actually created a platform where individuals or 2 or 3 people can come together and create a private limited company with a share capital below 1 million. That means between 5,000 francs CFA and 1 million. So you'll be able to have a private limited company. Now, that is where I come into the differences between the private limited company under the OHADA, that is the one that has a share capital of 1 million and above, and the private limited company under the Cameroon business law. Remember that a country has the right to adjust the business law to suit the needs of its people, because a country has to work in the best interest of its people, taking into consideration the disposable income, the economic structure of a country. So I'm going to give you the differences between a private limited company under the OHADA and a private limited company under the Cameroon law, before I go down to tell you the requirements you need and how much you need to pay in details. The first thing I'm going to say is under the Cameroon law is you can have one or many shareholders, and that is the same for under OHADA law. You can have one or many shareholders. Now, the share capital of under the Cameroon, the private limited company under the Cameroon law is below 1 million, while the share capital under of the private limited company under the OHADA law is 1 million and above. Now, both of these companies still are going to have the same requirements for the article of association under OHADA, but I'll tell you the difference. Under the private limited company in Cameroon, that is the share capital of below 1 million, the funds must not be deposited in the account. You can still have your funds in cash, or you don't need to show proof of funds before you get your company registered. But the private limited company that has a share capital of 1 million and above, you need a proof of payment, a receipt of payment, because a notary will need to give you the approval. You will need an approval from the notary. And these funds will need to be deposited in a company's bank account, or the money be showed to the notary in cash. Now, if it's deposited in the bank account, the receipt will be brought to the notary by the lawyer, and then he or she will record and give you a notarized statement of subscription and payment together with a list of subscribers. So this is very important. This is the actual difference. A notary is required whenever it comes to registering a private limited company with a share capital of 1 million and above. And when you want to put together the amount of payment, for how much I paid to the lawyer was 200,000 francs CFA, and that will include the documentation, the fees, the documentation, the stamps, the certification, and then also other things you have to do, because I'm looking at here, you have to get a criminal record as well. So all of that comes under the documentation that you will need, and the processing will be about 1 week for the private limited company with a share capital of below 1 million. Now, I would like to say this: for the private limited company with a share capital of 1 million and above, you will need a lawyer and a notary. And remember that those professions are liberal professions. They have the right to choose, to decide how much you are going to pay them. Now, remember, when you're coming to create your company, bear in mind that you should have a minimum of 2 million. And why do I say 2 million? That's because you need a minimum of your minimum share capital that needs to be in an account is 1 million. But you could open the account with 5 million. You could register the company starting with 5 million. It's not a problem. And the notary, inside that remaining 1 million, the notary has to collect his fees, the lawyer's fees, all the documentation, the certification, the administrative fee that goes to the government. So that is why it's approximately 2 million francs. And it is your documentation or your company will be given to you in less than a week. And this is same for the other private limited company with a share capital of below 1 million. Your documentation, your company registration documents will be given to you in less than 1 week. So what are the requirements for creating a private limited company? So this is for both. I'm giving these requirements for both the private limited company with a share capital of less than 1 million and a private limited company with a share capital of 1 million and above. Point number 1, drafting of status by you. What I mean by drafting of status, I'm talking about you and your lawyer. And the reason why I'm saying bring in a lawyer is because there's a standard of the article of association that the Cameroon government uses. There are certain things that need to be there. What you will need to give the lawyer is your objectives of the company, the name of the company, how long you want the company to last, the life of the company, certain basic things about the company, who the shareholders are, the share capital, what is the shareholders, what is the percentage of shares that each shareholder will be having. Those are the vital informations that you will be giving your lawyer. And your lawyer will draft an article of association for you. And that article of association needs to be stamped by a notary, needs to be seen and stamped by the notary. The next thing is a photocopy of your ID card. This is very important. And most times this is certified. You need to certify this documentation. Criminal record. If you are not a Cameroonian, you will need to get your criminal record from your embassy or from your consulate in Cameroon. If you are in Cameroon, you will need to get yours from the Court of Appeal, particularly from the town or the region where you were born. For example, if I was born in Douala or in Bonaberi, I'll have to go to the first instance court here in Bonasama, in Bonaberi. So that's an example. The next point is a business location plan, and you include your telephone number and your signature. The business location plan is going to be verified, especially when you start paying for CMPS. Article of association to be drafted by your lawyer, very important. The processing fee and documentation fee, very important. Those are two things. When I mean by processing fee, I mean the administrative fee that the lawyer is going to hand in to office in charge of registering documentation, and that amount goes to the government. And the documentation fee includes stamps, certification of documents, which is done in Cameroon. And the notary fee, and this is specific for those who are creating the private limited company of a share capital of 1 million and above, and this fee is determined by the notary, and also put in mind a lawyer's fee. In my case, I got a lawyer to do my own company documents because I didn't want to go through the hitches of having to go to one office to another. And let me tell you the truth, I have realized a secret here of what happens in the Cameroon culture. If you are not a lawyer and you enter an administrative office, you may not be taken seriously, or you may be moved from one angle to another. But when a lawyer steps with a documentation like this, of this sort of magnitude, of this sort, they actually take the lawyer seriously. Your documentations will not be delayed. They will not be expecting some bribe from the lawyer or something. But if you go on your own, you can easily be misled. You can easily be duped. But I'm telling you, there are so many advantages of getting a lawyer to stand in your behalf, because the lawyer knows the law. The lawyer knows the system, knows the judicial system in Cameroon. Then the next point is, and I want to say this, somebody asked me on my video which is preferable to have a small and medium-sized enterprise or a private limited company. I'm going to do another video to explain to you the different types of small, medium-sized enterprises that we have in Cameroon. We have the very small enterprise, we have the medium enterprise, and we have the smaller medium size. So I'm going to give you the different categories and the requirements and wherever they fall. That is for another video, because I've got the books, I've been reading the books. A private limited company is a commercial company in which the shareholders are liable for the company's debts only up to the amount of their respective contributions. That means that if there is a problem in the company, if the company is going through liquidation or insolvency and all that, another company or the government cannot enter the personal assets of the shareholders. That means that the business and the life of the shareholders are separated. On the contrary, if you're running a small and medium-sized enterprise, your business and you are fused together. If something happens to the company, they'll come after you. So what is my advice? Register and get a private limited company. If you have money, I'll advise you go for the private limited company with a share capital of 1 million and above, because it has a lot more benefits when it comes to you getting contracts in Cameroon, or people taking you seriously. And also when it comes to paying tax, if you don't have enough money, you could still go for the private limited company with a share capital of below 1 million, and you will still be getting good contracts. People will take you seriously. And with that, you'll be able to go on same pay as you have to register your employees. You will get investors in your business if you're under a private limited company. If you're actually separated from the company. Unlike the small and medium-sized enterprise, if you are owing or you don't have money to pay a debt, they'll come for your land, they'll come for your car, they'll come for your properties. But on the private limited, and I'm telling you, I have had a small and medium-sized enterprise for a couple of years before I registered for a private limited company, and I wish somebody had advised me. Because I'm telling you, I wish so, because I would have gotten investors. People don't like to invest in companies where the shareholder and the business, the assets of the company, and the entrepreneur are fused together. So this is my sincere advice to you, and I wish you take it with love. Whenever you have a private limited company, whether it is a private limited company with a share capital of below 1 million or a private limited company with a share capital of 1 million and above, and in this case you need a notary to actually approve your documentation, and it will be given to the lawyer. The lawyer will take it and go back to the office where documentations are being processed and finalized, and your certification for your documents are out. There are some things you need to bear in mind. Now, your company will need to have an auditor if the share capital exceeds 10 million francs CFA, and if the annual turnover exceeds 250 million francs CFA, and if the permanent staff exceeds 50 employees. The government requires that you get an auditor, a public auditor that will audit your company. It is compulsory by the government. Will audit your company and publish the finance of your company in the Cameroon newspapers. This is automatic. The Cameroon government did an amazing job actually by thinking about the Cameroon population and giving us an opportunity, or one or two or three group of people, to come together and create a private limited company with a share capital of below 1 million francs CFA. And I think that it's good. I mean, the government has given the opportunity for a lot of people, a lot of Cameroonians, to start businesses, to be able to flourish in this stiff economic, in this challenging brick wall economy in Africa. But where there is challenge, there's always opportunity. I want to challenge you not to run a company in Cameroon without documentation. Don't give the opportunity for people to take advantage of you. You know, education, I'm here to give you the best education or the best requirements you will need concerning anything concerning registration or even tax. If you have any questions, please do pop it down below. If I will leave my contact number, you could contact me. If you haven't understood in detail anything in this video, I'll be so glad to help you. So you can register your company and start business, being a legit company, running a legit company, getting investors, getting the respect let your company get the respect it needs, you know, partner with the right people, pay your tax, you know, get into same payers, social security for your employees, and why not be a billionaire? Till next time, thank you so much for joining me on this segment. I look forward to hearing from you as always. Thank you for all my returning subscribers. I want to say thank you, kisses and hugs. And if you just stumbled on this channel is for business and health. I'm a medical microbiologist, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I love business. I love to read. And if I had it my way, maybe I would have had a degree in business law. If I could have it my way, of course. I mean, I love to study. I love knowledge. And so I decided to share it with you. All right. So till next time, take care. Bye-bye.